Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back, everyone. Today is Wednesday, January 10th. We are starting it off with Dixie on a weekly time frame. A quick news update. Today is January 10th. The SEC is supposed to announce what their decision for ARC today, and then everyone else should be getting their answers by Friday. So keep in mind today for some volatility around that news drop. Just like yesterday with the bullshit with Gary Gensler's Twitter being hacked and causing a little bit of FUD. So that kind of shenanigans is bound to happen again during these big news events. So be aware of that today. Aside of all the news bullshit, going back to technical analysis, on the weekly on Dixie, you can see that last week we had a bullish engulfing. This week we are trying to see if we're going to do that continuation. We have 2 more days left in this close, so we're looking to claim above 102.70. If we cannot get the weekly close above that 102.80 mark, we will be looking for a potential downside test into 101.80 next week. And that would give us the green light for continuation upside on Bitcoin and ETH, regardless of the ETF news coming in next week. Okay, this is with pure technical analysis. If it gets a move down, we will get that inverse relation kicking in and upside in the others. If Dixie gets this claim of that 102.80, and next week we will have an attempt into that 103.50, that will give us a little bit of the grinding of the lows into Bitcoin and ETH. Regardless of ETF news, it might be a sub the news event, etc. If that occurs, you will see Dixie pop off to the top side. Eventually, those guys, if it's a sell the news event, where the X are they putting their money? Is it sitting in cash? Are they converting it into ETH? Are they rotating it into another altcoin? That's the point I'm trying to make. Where are they going to be moving their money? If it's in cash, it'll show up in Dixie, hopefully. And if it's being rotated into another asset, such as how we saw the sold off on Bitcoin in this last 24 hours, all that money looks like it went into ETH. So just keep an eye on where the money is flowing. That might help you as to surviving the chop that is bound to come in the next week or two. That's all I wanted to say on the weekly. We are trying to figure out if we're going to close bullish or bearish. The red EMA crossing the 100 is a signal that, hey, we're still grinding out sideways the lows. But eventually, once you get an open and close above that red EMA, we're going to be looking for the continuation to the upside. So this is a weekly time frame. It's going to be a little slow on this end, but once it kicks off, the daily will start showing you those impulses. The daily closes in the 4 hour. Here on the daily chart, you can see we're just consolidating sideways in that doji. I was talking to one of the members in the our Discord group. By the way, if you're interested in the Discord group, the link to the Discord group is in the description of this video below. And he was trading EU in forex, and that's what I was trying to say is, I'm not very sure as to where I expect EU to go, but until this range breaks on this doji one way or the one side or the other, I'm not really confident in a direction. I'm waiting for this consolidation to fully get consolidated, and I'm looking for a break to the top side in a continuation pattern after this consolidation. But I don't want to say anything until it happens. But as you can see, we are brushing along the midline of the RSI. RSI is trying to, just grind this level out. We are above the 21 EMA after grinding out the low. So in my uh, most educated guess, I'm looking for upside poke. Okay. And if we get resistance, then the rejection will be much harder to the downside, is the point I'm trying to make at. Um, Along with that, you can assume that the consolidation in this range is probably occurring because of, a crypto event that's looming. Uh, Here, I'm going to start going to Bitcoin on a weekly. And I'm going to point out, before we even go there, keep in mind we were looking for 48,300, I believe, to break. And we would be looking for continuation to the upside. And if we did not, I would be looking for the lower end of the doji that we were talking about in our last video. Please feel free to refer to the last video if you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about. We already have done this analysis, and I'm already just following up on that analysis. And today I'm making the video because more than likely I'm looking for that breakout today on the news event of ARK getting the Bitcoin ETF approved or not. And I'm pretty sure if they don't get approved, then all the others are probably going to follow along since the ARK one was the longest that's been waiting to be filed. And yeah, so I'm not looking for any surprises on Friday with the other followers because if somebody else gets it above ARK, I'm going to play some shenanigan favoritism kind of crap. So just be aware. So here is Bitcoin on the weekly. This doji is the one that I'm referring to, just like the doji on DXY. Until one side of it breaks, I don't want to assume anything. The doji's top is around 48.2, 48.3. Unless we get a 4-hour open and close above 48.3, I'm not looking for continuation into the next level of around 52,300. So from 48.3, I'm looking for 52.3, and there is no 52.3 until 48.3 gets at least an hourly open and close above it. And in the meantime, if we can't get above that 48.3 by the end of this week, I'll be looking for next week to put in that bearish divergence and looking for that downside sweep. First stop I'm looking for us to test is around 41.7, 42. And then I'll be looking for that low 36 to 37,000. So just be aware of those levels coming forward. It's going to be something like this. You know, we got that nice pump up. This candle will be that nasty doji, and the next week is just straight ass whooping for the next good amount of time, similar to this, similar to this. I'm hoping something like that does not happen, is because, and I have more of a confidence in something like that occurring, is because the further you are away from the EMAs, okay, that's showing you're in like premium territory. Fair price is near the EMA, discount is 21 EMA. Okay, that's how I like to play with my EMAs. Right now, I'm not rushing into a long. I would be looking into a DCA short. I am not shorting, full disclosure, I am not shorting right now. I'm not even in a Bitcoin or ETH position. I took the safe bitch route and took very low leverage uh, uh, altcoins to ride up this wave. If Bitcoin goes up 3%, ETH's going to go up 5%. If ETH goes up 5%, altcoins will go up 30%. So that's how I'm playing this. If we get the wrong side of this event and we go down, then that 30% green I'm looking for is going to turn into 30% red. Hence why I did nothing more than 10x leverage on a few alts, and I'm not going crazy into the market, just dabbling with a little bit of change and just sprinkling it along. Uh, and then we'll see how that plays out after today. Today is the day I'm waiting for the reaction, and then I will be managing those positions moving forward. I am not in love with any of these assets, so keep in mind that right now my main favorite is ETH, and I'm just along to see this Bitcoin ETF bring my baby ETH to my target of 2,900, which was the one-to-one target of the bottom. And speaking of ETH, let's go take a look at it. The warning for the downside on Bitcoin, I would put all my bells and whistles under 44,000. I want to say 44,400. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put an alert there. Right, 44,375. I'm gonna set this alert, and the second we oh, actually, you know what? I don't even need alert. If we encroach into these wicks, that's a warning sign that the reversal will be a possibility. And then I'll be looking for a larger flush because what's going to happen is I'm going to see it in the signal. The bots will be already doing their shit, that I'll be seeing it in the chart. Everyone else is going to catch on after the next candle close, and then you'll see the impulse come in with retail world. So, my goal is just to be able to see the pivot, time the pivot, and then be able to get out of my longs before the impulse of the downside actually comes. And that will be before this weekly candle close, or I will be watching daily since today is the news event. So, if you go to a quick daily view of Bitcoin, okay, so I just gave you guys a weekly perspective. This weekly's close. If we don't close above that bullish engulfing, the possibility of a bearish divergence playing out next week is there. I hope it worked. And then going to daily, I just want to show you if there's any divergences or not that we can, spot out for potential warnings. Everything I'm showing you today is, just the technical side. The fundamental event of the ETF spot approval coming through will do the most like impulsive volume today. And if there are shorts on the board, those shorts will become fuel for it'll be like a parabolic rise and a blow off top because every short will be getting pushed out. All the people around the world will be trying to pile into longs. And if you need any proof of something like that, yesterday was a good clue as to what would happen within 5 minutes of that Twitter tweet coming out, and then another 10 minutes of the retraction coming out. You saw the reaction, and that's kind of what you should be expecting. Here on the daily, you can see we are building up a massive bearish divergence as we're going to the high. RSI is not really showing you buyers stepping up. It's kind of just free floating bullshit going on. Sellers are here. They're not that strong. If a market buyer steps up at these levels, as long as it's above that 44,000 little mark we just made here, 44.3, it will continue up, okay? Because there is no one trying to sell. It's more buyers continually buying. Hence why you have this crazy hypotenuse of a triangle. So just be aware of that moving forward. Unless you lose this level, I'm looking for upside. You can consolidate into a triangle here, even if you want to, and break up to the top side. But I will say that if you do come back into here and you start, trying to come into like 43.4, I'll just consider this a head, and this is left shoulder head. I'll look for a right shoulder dead cat bounce, and I'll look for the flush down. And the flush down is going to get ugly and mean because you see all these longs are probably just opening, 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 opening. When the sell-off comes, all of these guys is gonna get chunked. Like, here's this was a great example. The SWIC yesterday or a couple days ago. That is gonna probably be a first stop. People will be thinking they're safe here, and then more than likely you're gonna flush down much, 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 much lower. I mean, for me, I know that 200 EMA is like a very, very common target on these kind of events. So just look at that price action, guys. It's at 34. Are you going to be able to survive a $10,000 drop? Something like that is highly, highly likely today. Okay, a $10,000 sell-off after an overbought, over leveraged event. That $10,000 drop is not a permanent drop. It could just be a wick. Just come straight down, cash every over leveraged long out, and come right back up to like 41.5, consolidate between 38 and 41.5, piss everyone off sideways here, let 200 EMA catch up, and then you can look for a little bit higher. Fight out this level another month or two later, like, maybe April, which is when the halving is. Something like that is very likely impossible, so just be aware of the downside possibility as well as, yeah, to the moon, to the moon, to the moon, ETF. That is also possible today, but I want to have you guys be aware of the possibilities to the downside as well. Now let's go weekly to ETH, and then you will see as this sell-off is occurring on Bitcoin, ETH got love. Let's go peek. ETH, and you can see right off my chart, ETH is already above 2,400. Bitcoin's down 1.3. ETH is up 3%, ironically. Here is ETH on a weekly time frame coming up. Here is ETH on a weekly time frame. You cannot argue with that bullish engulfing weekly candle. Depending on if we close like this, we can look for continuation next week. If we don't close like this, you're gonna have equal highs. Next week you can open and just bearish engulf again and consolidate this level until we break into the lower level of like 2050, which is where I'm looking to pick this up around 2050. Um, if we do look for continuation to the upside, I'm looking for the next real level of resistance near that doji to the left around 2600. And then after 2600, I'm looking for my target of 2900, which is the one-to-one extension on a weekly consolidation of the lows over here. The one-to-one extension of this order block, it would be like around here, like around 2900, all the way over here, something like that. You know, just measure this to this and just equally break it out from here to here and like something like that, like 29 to 3000. That's the weekly as I was talking about. Now, if you go to daily, give it a second. Weekly looks great and healthy. We have room to the upside into that 2600 area. So going to 2600 and then rejecting down makes sense because of the liquidity grab that it might be doing into this order block over here. But on the daily, I'll show you little bit more of a area that we can target. I have not turned on my fibs. I have all the fibs and stuff set for members. That's kind of like a little bit more advanced TA, especially if you're using leverage. So not everyone needs something like that in an event like this, since we are trying to like buy and hold forever kind of situation due to the ETF. But here on the daily, as you can see, like, you know, we had that hard rejection. That harder rejection was tested. We engulfed into the bearish rejection that we had. At this point, we're kind of just going sideways, kind of similar to this, but the likelihood of breaking out to the top is there because, like I said, on weekly, we have a lot more space into 2600, and that's about a $200 move to the top from here. All the shorts that are probably still floating over here with their stop losses are all going to be fuel for that $200 pop. All of this is likely if the ETF news comes out positive. If we open this next daily candle and we have not taken out these highs, I would have pretty strong inclination of us testing back into this 2350 area. And then if the next daily close doesn't breach it, then we can look for an open end continuation up. But we're going to be fighting this $100 area, well, $50 area. If you lose 2350, the path to the downside to 2300 is definite, but like going under 2300, if you lose 2200, the drop's going to get much uglier. I just warn you that right now 200 is at 1950 and I'm looking at 2050 to pick it up and I'm be having to defend myself all the way to 1950, which is a $100 move to the downside. But I will be using a DCA ladder to kind of scoop that up for a long-term position situation if that happens. If that doesn't happen, then keep in mind that you still got $200 to the top side to move, and that's basically the range you have. I mean, if you drew a parallel channel and you went along the midline, here's the midline at 2300. Anything under 2300 is a risky long scalp, and that's why I'm going to aim for like, you know, push out event like 2050 to 1950. And in this long scalp area, I would try to attempt it. Aside from that, I'm not trying to short this. I'm waiting for the event to pass. If it's a bullish event, I will wait for the retrace if I get one. If it's a continuation up, I'll wait for a blow off top and I'll get into the retrace. I have no reason to front run the market after yesterday's event of the fake out. Why would I allow myself to get faked out the second day in a row? So I'll wait for confirmation. I'll wait for the reaction to come to charts. I am sure that we're going to just go bananas up if ETF gets approved, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be take profit or like, you know, a retracement eventually. That's when I will try to get in. Until then, I'm just going to be very, very cautious of the fuckery that the crypto market brings. So be aware, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you in the next one. And I will respond to you in those YouTube comments if you do put something out there. I'll get back to you. If you could leave me a like, subscribe, a comment, I would greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in joining the Discord, like I said, the Discord link is in the description of this video below, alongside all the other affiliate services that I use and recommend that helps this channel grow. So thank you so much for your love and support. And yeah, aside from that, guys, just feel free to hit me up if you have any questions or concerns, or if you have another asset you want to get involved with, I will look it up for you. And we did start our Robinhood account, and I'm going to be starting to dabble with a few stocks in there. The beautiful part about the stock market is we're not going to be using leverage. It's just going to be pure technical analysis and going to be buying and holding and taking profit accordingly. So it's going to be a much calmer uh, trading lifestyle than to our crypto. But I mean, if you're good at crypto, stocks are going to be like the easiest thing in the world. So if you guys are interested, feel free to join. Aside from that, I hope you guys have a great day. Good luck to the Bitcoin ETF to pass, and I wish you guys the best. See you in the next one. Bye bye.